There's a lot to unpack.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack. That's the phrase of the day.
Come back to the toll issue.
Yeah, let's do that.
So you were against the toll, but then you started talking about we may need to discuss congestion pricing at some point. Now, maybe you're redefining congestion pricing, but that's just a fancy bureaucratic antiseptic term for toll.
That's right, because there's no congestion.
And the only thing that I've heard you propose at this morning is the idea of making the rich people on YDI pay for expensive parking spots. That's a good way to raise some money. I would support that. But I'm not really sure how that gets cars off the road, because there's not going to be that many of those condos. How that eases congestion. And also, those places are being bought up by rich Chinese, and you're going to have absentee.
Point of information, is that only on YBI, or are they charging for parking on Treasure Island
That's not
too?
been proposed, other than what he just said today.
But the question I have is, are they going to charge $115,000
I
for Treasure Island?
What I have heard is that there are developments that have parking spaces priced at $115,000, but I think that's from the developer. When I talked about speaking from a place of principle, that if we're talking about managing congestion with pricing, we should be making sure we're incentivizing in a way that's the people know what they're signing up for when they buy a luxury condo on Treasure Island or YBI. When we talk about congestion pricing writ large, generally, I would say this. I'm a 21st century urbanist. Our city is going to get dense. We're going to have congestion pricing in San Francisco. Why aren't we talking about a downtown San Francisco? Well, I'd say
No, it comes back again, but
Maybe.
I don't
what is
know.
Mark
That's
Twain?
a lot of
Isn't it?
commercial.
The rumors of its death are greatly exaggerated. But let's see where it goes.
So I guess what I'm asking is then, I mean, you gave me the impression, and I fed it back to you, and you did not object to my characterization, that basically you would, at some point, could consider a congestion pricing situation that basically would amount to a toll on Treasure Island. And I'm just trying to figure out where you are, Matt, because
My recollection of it was congestion pricing is something that comes up I want to say like every 5 or 10 years there's a conversation. Jake McGoldrick had this conversation back in 20 years ago, or 10, 15 years ago. And usually it comes up, it gets shot down, but usually it's talking about congestion pricing in downtown. It might be something where in other parts of my district, congestion pricing might be something that we would have to implement to discourage people from driving their cars into Giants games and Warriors games. But I'm going to make sure that we're not punishing people for living in Mission Bay or living near South Beach. Does that make sense? In other words, the devil is in the details on congestion pricing.
but as far as congestion pricing of Treasure Island, basically a toll on Treasure Island, you gave me the distinct impression that you would be willing to have a conversation about that.
The way that I understood that was about congestion pricing in San Francisco.
Let's just say, one way or the other, are we talking about Treasure Island being someplace in San Francisco where you would consider congestion pricing?
I think a toll is a regressive tolling structure that is going to discourage driving. What has always rubbed me the wrong way about that is that it is regressive. You're creating, hey, we're going to manage congestion with a $10, $5 on, $5 off. Who's that going to discourage? What I have said to every YIMBY activist I can talk to about this is the optics of this. If you are truly a YIMBY, and you are behind, as I am, the most ambitious and most progressive housing element in San Francisco history, and we want to fulfill the promise of 82,000 units and righting the wrongs of past generations. And if we're going to do this, we had better not make the mistakes that we made in generations past of hurting communities of color, hurting low-income communities. We had better take care of everybody and not displace it. I'm convinced there is a way to do development without making it gentrification or displacement.
I may quote you on that.
Well, I'm not, that's why I'm on camera.
That's quite a statement.
So I guess what I'm looking at, as I mentioned again yesterday, that we're less than 2 weeks out from early voting. And people on Treasure Island want to know your position on whether there's going to be a toll or not. And I find you dancing around it. Haney once said there would never be a toll on Treasure Island to see the supervisor, and then you turned right around and supported a toll. So I think people want to know what your position is definitely.
I'm opposed to the toll.
For now, and
What I haven't gotten a straight answer on is whether this is going to happen with or without us.
Right.
What I will say is this, and without betraying confidence, but I have heard from some of my colleagues that there's not support for it.